This episode is sponsored by La Taverna, that restaurant in Abuja where you don't finish the food finishes you. I just realized as I hit record that I have no idea what the surname of my next guest is right now. How did I miss this? Her name is Renike, and I have no idea what her last name is. Rookie mistake. Amateur. But anyway, since we're here, the show must go on. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Rodney and Vogue-published, and you're welcome to this very special episode of The Young God. And my guest today is Renike, a highly skilled visual artist, illustrator, designer, based out of Lagos, whose style caught my heart sometime last year, and I just had to have her on the podcast. Her wrist game is legit. Last year, she illustrated a book cover that was displayed on a billboard in New York City. It doesn't get bigger than that. And this episode comes in two sides. Side B starts off with Renike being curious about my podcast journey. Because before she agreed to come on the podcast, she did her research and she had some questions, which I was all too happy to answer on the show. Then we talked about having her work on display on a billboard in New York City. Small girl, big girl things, yo. Speaking of big, Renike and I got into a lengthy discussion about being the bigger person and what that means. For me, that's the highlight of this entire two sides that we did together. Chimamanda even came up at some point. All in all, it was a proper creative conversation between two creative individuals. Do check out at I am Renike on Instagram and Twitter. She has a delightfully curated feed. Follow the podcast at I am the Young God on Twitter and at the Young God Pod on IG for exclusive content. My name is Rodney and Vogue-published, and you're welcome to The Young God, a podcast for gods. What would you like to know about me?
I'd like to know about when you started the podcast, why you started the podcast, what has been your most interesting episode?
Man, I've released over 123 episodes. It's hard to pick
Yeah.
at this point. Yeah.
Okay, top 5. Okay, top 3.
Yeah, okay. Favorite episodes. One that's titled Not Self-Aware but God-Aware. That's one.
I saw that.
Yeah. You should listen to it. It's really cool.
No, I did not listen to it, but it caught wait. It caught my attention, and I was going to listen to it.
You should.
So now that you said it's top 3, I'm going to listen to it.
Yeah. Then I made another one called No Such Thing as Being Happy Single. Yeah.
Why?
Go listen. go listen. Because I know, yeah, it sounds exactly like really no. Like, surely there's happiness in singledom, but I break it down in a way that I think turned the biggest skeptic into a believer. Yeah, there's no such thing as being happy single. Yeah. Another one is The Athena Woman. And
Ooh, what's that about?
I draw parallels between the goddess Athena and what the modern woman today needs to aspire to in order to like really thrive, and even when it comes to like picking a partner, that like the kind of like discernment that is needed to really be in one's element in this world that is clearly not in women's favor a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So the Athena Woman is really just tells the story of Athena, the goddess, and what she stands for in terms of womanhood and how women can like take some things from her and apply it to their own lives. That
Oh,
was
nice.
yeah, that did a lot of you got a lot of people talking, you know. But the
Oh,
podcast,
okay.
yeah, but the podcast is just my baby. It's a, as you might know by now, I have a very, you know, unique way of seeing the world and seeing things. I'm very sensitive
Mm-hmm.
to nuance and to, you know, to truth and just like things that make the world go around, and I derive a lot of joy in expressing those ideas, those thoughts, those new insights that I come across, and then also talking to people such as yourself who bring out, you know, more opportunities for these amazing conversations and concepts to be discussed. Because I feel like, you know, people need, you know, access to like new ways of thinking more than ever right now. Because if you notice about our system, we've been taught what to think, not how to think, and that creates
Yeah.
problems in itself.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know how to think, you can't solve your own problems, and if you
Mm-hmm.
can't solve your own problems, you're going to be always in a state of panic and fear and survival and worry and you know, you can imagine how a country of 200 million plus people who are in that state of mind, you can see how that adds up. You can just look at what it's like being here in this country. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, like, so my podcast is just a space that brings that uncommon thought process to all kinds of things, all kinds of issues. Doesn't matter what it is. It's not limited to anything. It's like a universal. I'm a universal man in that way. You know what I mean? Like a Renaissance man.
Yeah.
And oh yes, dare I say, that billboard in NYSC.
Yes.
How does it feel? You've blown.
You know what? I've not posted that picture on Instagram. Thanks for reminding me.
Eh,
Yeah, I haven't
that's
posted it on Twitter.
why. Why did you forget?
I don't know why I forgot. Look, it feels kind of wild
Mm,
and unbelievable because, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of overwhelming, right? Because first of all, Nicola Young, who's the author that she's the author that I did the book cover for.
mm-hmm.
First of all, I remember when she reached out to me, when the publishing company reached out to me to create like the book cover for her book. I was like, with the Nicola Yoon, how
Mm-hmm.
did she see me? And it was from Instagram. Like people usually underrate like what social media is, especially for a creative person of an
Mm,
artist. So like the experience right from when she reached out or when the publishing company reached out on RBL and now things that like spring up, the book winning Times Times, New York Times bestseller, and all of that. It's like
mm.
wild. So when I saw it on the billboard, I was like, oh shit, that's my art. On a
Mm.
giant billboard in the middle of NYC.
That is what's
So yes,
up.
that felt really good. Yeah, it's so crazy.
Oh man.
It's so crazy because, like, as much as I want to say that, of course, it's collaborative efforts. You know, the artist, the writer, the art director, the designers, and all of that. It's still wild that I got to be a part of it, and it's winning so much. Like, I'm part of the success of the book,
Yes, you are.
and that's wild.
Yes, you are, man. Congrats, man, on everything. Like,
Thank
um,
you.
we need all these little wins to keep us moving forward. If not, it can
Yeah,
get really,
so
really damp and dark out here.
yeah, yeah. Well, thanks for reminding me. I'm going to post on Instagram.
Tag me. As your reminder, as your official reminder. You sure you don't need me as your executive assistant to be reminding you of important posts to make?
You know, I've been thinking about even getting an assistant because business is growing. We thank God.
We thank God. I love to hear it. I love to hear it. We interrupt this podcast with a message from our sponsor. You know one of my favorite things about La Taverna? Apart from the cozy interior, rooftop view, and quality cuisine? The chef. He's not only a pro at his craft, but he's also a solid dude. A solid dude who cooks good food. Not just solid character-wise, but also in physical size. When you visit, just ask for Chef Padre. If you're able to meet him, you'll understand. And while you're there, don't forget the 10% discount for listeners of the podcast who use the code TheYoungGod. Check them out on IG at La Taverna Abuja and do show your support. What do you think about being the bigger person?
Okay. The reason why I'm laughing is that I try to be the bigger person, but I think it's overrated. Ooh. I think once in a while you need to show people that you can be a small person as well, right? You know, especially in this country where people only listen to craze. If you're not crazy, or if you do not give them the same amount of basicals that they give you, they won't respect you. So, you know, I think it's overrated. I mean, being the bigger person always, brings peace, right? But sometimes peace is also overrated, especially when you want to set boundaries and pass a direct message across. So being a bigger person is overrated. If you need to call someone out or show someone the same amount of grace they are showing you, let them know that they cannot act a certain way towards you, then by all means do it. But not the one that you carry koboko and flog somebody's mother. Not that kind of not that kind of thing. But yes, I think being the bigger person is overrated. And I think it depends on your personality. Someone like me, because I don't like stress and I don't like drama, I'll most likely always take that route. But once in a while, I think it's very, very okay to show people that they cannot treat you a certain way. And it's okay to be the tiniest person in the room in this situation. What do you think?
You know what I think? I think that, and I've seen that a lot. A lot of people have shared this opinion, like that you have, that being the bigger person is not what it's cut out to be. But then I also think that people misunderstand that term or what it means.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think, like for me personally, I can never get tired of being the bigger person, mostly because I can see what it does for me in the long term. You know, like,
okay.
Yeah, what that brings. So I'll tell you what, right? So I'm sure you're a Christian, right?
Yeah.
Yes. You know, when Jesus said, turn the other cheek, that's what he meant, to be the bigger person.
That one, I'm not doing bigger person. I'm not doing.
But hold on. That's what I'm saying. You misunderstand what it means. It's not. It doesn't mean to become a doormat. But it also means it simply means.
That's what it sounds like, though.
See, that's what it sounds like. But I think, to truly understand it, you have to look at, it means not coming down to the level of the people that would persecute you or challenge you or want to, like, so imagine this, right? You're in this, now again, it depends on who you are and what you're trying to be. So personally, I'm trying to be like the best version of myself. I'm trying to like, maintain a level of poise and grace and dignity in all the things that I do. So that already is my North Star. So being the bigger person means to me focusing on that even when I'm being tempted to act a fool, to come down to a person's level. Like, when you know how they say when they go low, you go high. And so again, it also depends on like what you're made of inside in terms of your capacity for grace, the thickness of your skin. So if you're able to let a thing go or deal with it in a way that doesn't require you to be on the same level of that person, like it means it's like even if someone is being childish, you're trying to do the right thing. And I think if you're doing the right thing, you can never go wrong. So it might pain in the moment, in the present, like, okay, I'll give you an example, right? And this is a good story. One time on Twitter, I posted a picture of myself and I thought I looked fly. I thought I looked like a motherfucking, certified lover boy in that photo.
Mm-hmm.
And then some guy, some troll came at me, was like, yeah, but those shoes are crap, though. Like, those shoes are ugly as hell. Like, nigga, don't ever post that again.
Oh, gosh.
So in the moment, I was like ready to give this guy a piece of my mind, like give him the energy he gave me. But then, luckily for me, I didn't have data. Or I didn't know I didn't have data, so I had to wait. And by the time I'd taken time to wait, I had calmed down. And when I had calmed down, or like, when the feeling of, that attack had left my body, I was able to look at the thing in a different light. And I said to him, yo, man, that's wild. And I actually like those shoes. You understand that kind of thing? Sorry?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Like I told him, I said, damn, that's wild because, like, damn, I actually like these shoes. It sucks that you think they're trash. And then the guy responded like, man, I thought you were going to like come at me with some shit. Like, he now said, na correct man you be. Do you understand? Do you understand?
But people like that have to be called out for their bad behavior.
See, but that's the thing. He was in acting the way I did. He called himself out without even me having to do it. My response let him know, that we're levels apart in terms of how we see things and how we operate in this world. Because he was ready to come at me. Like, for sure, if I'd said some shit like, you fucking asshole, I'm going to put this shoe up your ass that you don't like.
But the thing is, okay. So the thing is, I think there are ways to not be the bigger person. So when I talk about not taking the higher ground, it's not me saying that I have to come to the, same level as the troll, or me saying blah 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 blah. You have, and you, I was meant to say hustle. My Yoruba almost dropped out, but I caught it.
That would be funny. That would be nice for the pod.
So instead of saying like, you asshole, something, what's your business? Your shoe, it's my shoe, blah, blah, blah. I just block the person. So the person is not able to try that nonsense again. So it's still me, it's me not tolerating it and me not engaging it, but me still teaching that person a lesson that you do not talk to me in that manner. So even if by chance the person opens another troll account, the person knows that if the person tries that kind of nonsense, I will block the person again. And you get tired of opening troll accounts just to troll me. I don't know how long you followed my Twitter for, but I don't fight on Twitter. Not because people don't come at me with certain crazy or evil comments, but because like I don't entertain it. Now I feel like it's not my responsibility to make them know that they are wrong. right? But it's my responsibility to protect my space. Now, depending on how I choose to do that, you can now say, okay, maybe she took the not so high ground, but she took the lowest of the lowest grounds. Because I know some people that if they say your shoe is ugly, they'll say your mother is ugly. Do you understand? There are people like that. So those are people that do not, like, when it comes to like taking the higher ground or being the bigger person, it does not cross their minds at all. But I think there are ways to do it. Now, me saying it's overrated does not mean that you should, like, in trying to let people know that they cannot treat you a certain way, you should be vile about it. That's not what I mean by it. Maybe that's what some people.
If I may, just a moment.
Yeah, sure.
The troll who came at me in that way, I think he got a sense of how I cannot be treated without me having to let him know explicitly that I cannot be treated this way. You get what I'm saying? Like in the way I came at him with that, he got the sense that, okay, this is not a guy or this is not a person, that you can just, rile up or that has even time for these kind of things. And in that way, because what happened at that point in time was, it was not my intention yet in the moment, but when I saw the result of it, I understood that it's something that I should be able to cultivate, finding ways to de-escalate things without creating an enemy or without having to feel like, for example, because what I've realized is that a lot of times people are just, when they act out like that, it's a silent cry for help. So when I started to understand that these are hurt people trying to hurt someone else, it just freed me from, having to always defend myself, because I can now judge, is this person like just being needlessly mean, or is this person like really, really like having an issue with me? Is it personal? And in that way, the buck, like that energy stops with me by the way I handle it. I've seen it in love situations in my life, even with my family, being the bigger person. Like, I had this thing with my sister where she was always being, like, we never used to get along when we were younger. And at the time, it was like, I used to have like serious anger issues, and always like, anytime she would like, upset me, I would go off. And then somewhere in my growth, I realized that, maybe I'm going about this the wrong way. And so I decided to be the bigger person. When she would do stuff, I just, responded with love to her, with like, I would just dispel it. And over time, she began to adjust. And now, 6 years later, we're in the best of terms, because at that time I decided not to go to her level or to react based on my first instincts, but just rather think about it. Think about, for example, she was having like, my sister is very prone to like neuroticism, right?
Yeah.
Which means that she can easily she's easily beset by negative emotions. So knowing that, it was like, okay, I get it. Let me not aggravate it, one. And when she comes at me, let me, maybe walk away, or, just not give her the same energy. And in time, it began to, there was improvement in our relationship. So seeing that again, I'm like, okay, so this is how it works. And because I've seen it throughout my life, how being the bigger person really does attract like positive energy and better relationships and outcomes, it just became a thing. Like, I can never like look at it and say it's overrated. So when people say that to me, I'm thinking to myself, you probably just don't understand it. And then when you now go back to the Bible, when Jesus said turn the other cheek, it's a thing of letting yourself be someone that people can say doormat again. It's just saying that you understand that the future, or the people, when you don't go toe-to-toe with certain people, they eventually dig their own hole, or they will say some shit that will incriminate them, or their nya should open when the wind blows appropriately. Like that kind of idea and mentalities. That's and I need to ask you, because I always felt, and I've heard like a lot of girls your age and your mindset that have that kind of feeling that being overrated, or rather being the bigger person is overrated. And I always feel like, well, I
it
guess you.
takes your methods. Your methods. It's long term, right? There are long term results when it comes to your method.
On short term, sometimes like the one with the troll on Twitter was right there and
Very,
then.
very. But you see that does not happen like it hardly ever happens because the thing is once people know that they can treat you a certain way and you don't react how they want you to react, they might continue to provoke you. And that's where your method is very good and it requires like a lot of patience and understanding, which is a really good thing. But sometimes there are special people in quotes, special in quotes, that
Of course, yeah.
they just don't know when to stop. So if they tell me my hair is ugly and I say, well, maybe I like it or something. Oh, it's funny that you think it's ugly because I like it, right? So that's like an equivalent to your reaction as well. So I'll say something like, it's funny that you think that way because I actually really like the hair. And instead of going the route that the person now proceeds to say, oh, that means you don't have good taste or something, you know? So it creates like allowance, for them to continue to show you.
But that's the thing, right? So if it continues and you're like, okay, I guess I don't. I didn't die because I allowed him to, in the end, he has seen that this is not someone that he can bully emotionally, because that's what it really is. You're giving someone the keys to your system, so they're saying, oh, I can say so and so thing, and the person is going to spark, and they will spark, and maybe to get some retweets and to go viral, or they will gain some personal satisfaction from having that kind of control over you. But even if they continue, because eventually they'll go away, right? Because then you go back and you look back at the thing, and you're like, oh wow, look at how I responded, and this guy kept going. Now it's clear as day for everyone to see whenever they need to see it, the kind of person that you are, whether anyone is looking or when no one is looking. Because I bet you, the thing about being the bigger person is that it often feels overrated in all these like petty things, these arguments that we have on Twitter or social media or whatever. But in the real life situations, the times you need it the most, to not have that in your arsenal, in your bag, like to not be able to do that, that's when you know how valuable it is. Because when you're able to do that at certain key points, the rewards, whether it's emotionally or mentally or even socially with people, is underrated when you nail it at the right time. So it's just a thing I tell people, like, just like build the muscle, not because, like they say, be good because it's who you are, not because people are going to be good to you back. Just let it be you. Let it be your thing. And, and that's what Jesus stood for in the end, right? If you're trying to like live like him, is that, be you, regardless of, what people or what situations might come out to test you. Like have thick skin and an elastic heart, so to speak. And over time, you just find that, like exactly, like see, you're a woman of culture and taste. I love. So I mean, it's not by age. It's really a decision at any point in time that you want to be someone who is wired to see the best in people before the worst.
Ooh, that's a good one. And that's actually something I strive to be. It's a character trait that I strive to have. So that's a really good one. But it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work. Yeah, as it should. It takes a lot of work, but
look at your skills,
Renike. If I could, I'd always be the bigger person. But sometimes I feel like it's important to let people know. Not to be honest, there are some people there. Let me not like you need to give them in the same way I'm giving you. There are some people I've never had to. Have I ever had to give someone like the to give someone in the same way they've given me? No, I have not had to. And the reason why I have not had to is because immediately they did what they did, especially if they are not close or if I don't know them from Adam, I cut them off so they are not able to do it again. But I always, of course, to people you know or people you love, like your sister, your family, of course, you would always, try to be the bigger person and give them grace. But there are some people that you don't know, they don't know you don't know them, and they just come and they just pack in your space, and you have to let them know that look, you don't do that here.
You're absolutely right.
Look, it's hard. The route you're talking about is very hard.
You're absolutely right, and I'll tell you why you're right. Even in the Bible, there was a time when Jesus sparked in the temple. Remember that?
Yeah, they used to go and pack out their market.
But the thing in there is that he didn't spark because he is unable to control his emotions. He sparked because he needed to send a message. Do you get the difference?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
That's the thing.
Yes, but that's what I'm talking about now.
Yeah. So if that's what it is, then yeah.
The sparking is to tell them that you don't do that. Don't do that again.
Yeah. And if the sparking is something that you only do once in a while, whenever you do it, it will be more effective than if your default is to always spark. Think about it. If you're someone that's always sparking, then like it loses its edge. So
yes,
but if you have it, but if you deploy it at very key times. Let's take a moment to pause and breathe. Relieve the tension. Whatever you're doing, close your eyes, take a deep breath. In through the nose, out through the mouth. One more time. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Let's resume. Like being socially intelligent and emotionally intelligent, like these are things that come with that, I think, and as you can tell on social media, a lot of people lack that kind of intelligence. There's book smart people, there's Twitter smart people, but that real intelligence that allows you to navigate like dicey situations. Because I think your ability to enjoy life really depends on how well you navigate all these kind of things, because they will always come up. Nobody lives in a bubble, right? So the better you're able to like, at least have that capacity to be bigger, man, your life will be easier.
It will be way, way easier. Yes, definitely. Easier. So that's like, yeah. So being the bigger person, okay. So what I like to do is that when there are like conversations like this, I like to look at the pros and I like to look at cons and weigh the both of them. And with being the bigger person, there is, like I said, long-term benefits. And with being the bigger person, there is maybe more peace of mind, and I don't know. Do you know? I think it's even equal. The pros and cons. The pros and cons. If we continue to talk about this thing for the rest of the podcast. So I think the most important thing is balance. Is having that balance. So I don't believe in sparking all of the time and being the smaller person all the time, because it takes a lot of energy from you to be that person. Except if you have, so there are some people that they have the strength to do all of that. Personally, for me, 80% of the time, I'm most likely the bigger person. Even the 20%, 20% of the time that I am not the bigger person, I am not like the smallest person, but I'm like in the middle, right? Where I just have to communicate that, okay, this is wrong, right? I don't like it, and all of that. So I think it's good for the entire thing to have a balance. So for example, if you're on Twitter and people are watching you, you don't always fight. Like you said, it is once in a while. right, that you do it. They know you've sent a message to the people that are watching. You sent a message to the person that you're directly talking to and people that are watching. That fact that I'm quiet does not mean that, you can, say all of this about me or treat me in a certain manner. So it's important that for me, what I live by is that be the bigger person, but not all the time. Sometimes you need to communicate, especially sometimes when there is a virtual audience. I don't believe in shouting in public or fighting or being verbally abusive in public. That's embarrassing. So sometimes when there's a virtual audience, I think it's okay to not be the bigger person all the time so that you send a message across to, those people. Thankfully, my friends, I don't always have to be the smaller person because I have friends that always stand up for me on Twitter. Yes. So if someone is being rude, before I say something, they've already come to say, what's this all saying? Come on, get out of here. So thankfully, I have people to stand up for me that have that energy, right? And I really like them because, I love them for that. Because it's not every time I have the energy to stand up for myself in situations that involve trolling. So I think it's good for that. It's good that, for people to have balance of both. To know when to take the higher ground, to know when certain issues are not worth their response or worth their time. And to know when to tell people that, or to clear people that, no, you don't do this to me, it's wrong. I'm not going to tolerate this from you.
That's so spot on, and I'll give an example of why it's spot on. Chimamanda. Are you familiar with
my girl? Yeah.
I remember when she released that thing on her website. This is obscene.
About which one? She released there are two, or is it two or one? Or she released one that covered the two.
Yes.
Okay. The one that had 3 parts.
Yes, that one.
Oh, I read it.
Yeah, that is an exercise in being the bigger person, in my opinion.
Yes, I agree with you.
The way because, like I said, it's not about being walked over or being a pussy or being a little bitch that people can do shit to you. But just the way she picked the right time and the right way to express herself in a way that was dignified. So you can tell, you never got a sense that she was fighting with these people or, going back and forth with anybody. She just stated the facts, gave her thoughts on it, cleared everybody involved, and then went back to her house.
Yeah, it was such a messy situation, especially because for me, I did not know about all what had happened till I read this thing, and I was like, oh wow, the thing about appearing to be the bigger person or being the bigger person is that nobody knows, or people do not pay attention to if you were right or wrong anymore. They pay attention to your approach of how you handle the situation. So, that was what Chimamanda did. There were some things that I feel like she should have been clear about, especially when it comes to what's the name of the trans rights and all of that. I feel like there are some things that she should have been straightforward and clear about from the beginning in explaining, because when she said that trans women are trans women, she was not saying that trans women are not women. She was saying that trans women are women, but they're a brand of women. But people saw it as her denying the fact that trans women are women. That was what caused the uproar. Because after reading everything, I was like, I don't see how this babe was, I don't see how she was being rude towards this party or this group of people. And I don't know. So the way she explained herself, I like that during the heat of the chaos, she did not say anything and then released this statement. And she even only released this statement because so many people were even trying to tarnish her name. So yes, Chimamanda, I've always loved Chimamanda's way of speaking. Chimamanda is somebody that if we're having an argument and she's in the wrong, if she talks to me, I'll start to doubt if she's really in the wrong. Or if I'm just overthinking. That's the kind of person she am. And I really like that about her.
That's the fucking tea, and you don't get that way if you really don't like if you don't give that air of being the bigger person. Because when you're that kind of person, you just command a certain respect already. Do you
Exactly.
get?
Yeah. Because
So,
a lot of people were even saying that they admire the way Chimamanda approached this and handled this. Just really one statement, and that was it. She did not say anything else. She did not do anything else.
She just gave the blueprint, because you can tell a lot of people didn't know that it was possible to not be messy about these kind of things. Like, people usually, people are not used to examples of this kind of handling of a situation. We see it all the time. How look at how Quavo and Sawiti, how their own thing went down. So you see how they handled theirs. It was very messy. You see how Two-Face and his wife, how she came out to talk about some shit about him the other day. Like, in fact, this past couple of weeks, there's been a lot of like, weird ass like, situations where people are coming out to talk about some things that have happened in their personal life in a very like messy way. So that's what we're used to. So when someone like Chimamanda does it differently in a very eloquent and very common sense and straight to the point way, it's like it's so new and different. It's like, oh my god, like people can do it like this as well. Like, it's possible to be the bigger person in such a way. That's really what she showed, and I think like I aspire to that when the time comes. If I'm ever, and I've been in situations like that where I've been like on the chopping block for saying something online that people thought I shouldn't have said, and I think I handled it quite well, But she took it to another level.
Yeah, she took it to another level. She took it to another level.
Yeah. So I hope with these few points of mine, you have at least been at least been encouraged to at least think. How does it think about how you might be that when the time comes? Because if you think about it, right, like our parents, I don't know what your relationship with your parents is like, but you see how they are unable to deal when their child ends up in a way that is not to their liking. They're not able to deal with their child's differences. They're not able to understand, why their child is so different from what they expect. And so it's from throughout their lives, they've never had to be the bigger person in a real way. So now they're bringing all that energy to their family that they're raising, and it's just more transferred trauma and aggression and things like that. So now you're dealing with a child who doesn't understand why they're being hated for being who they are. And you're wondering why your child is not nice to you or does not treat you a certain way. Like, these things, like, I feel like whatever I'm doing now is preparing me for the time when I'll need it the most. When I need to be a parent to and I'm faced with a child that is just acting crazy. And because I have that capacity, I'll be able to draw them closer than push them away when the time comes. If you know what I mean. But
yeah, totally.
So I
being the bigger person is character building. Of course, I agree with you now. My own argument is that it's just hard sometimes.
Yeah. That's why it takes the grace of God, that's why, God comes in this thing sometimes. Like, it takes grace, it takes, common patience and things that are just not natural to us human beings to be better. But once you need it 1, 2, or 3 times, it becomes autopilot. Just like your drawing and your art. It goes back to that. It took you years to really get to this level of competence and confidence. Now it's like you can draw whatever in your sleep and to look like a fucking $1 million.
Yes, so
when we approach all our growth with that kind of mindset, I think anything is possible.
Yes, I agree with you.
So Renike, Renike.
Hi.
This has been a very, very. I feel like I talked too much today.
No, no,
I feel like I
you
didn't
did
let you
not.
get in enough, and I came here to learn about you more than anything. But we just started. but yeah, but I think this is too great. So thank you for coming on with me. Thank you for talking to me. You are
No.
a very nice account to follow on Twitter, actually. Just because, you know, in between your rants and your opinions and your little commentary, the art is the star of the show. The art you post. Whenever you post
Thank
something
you.
artistic about your process or your journey, it's really special, and I thank you for it. Don't ever stop. Like, obviously, I came for the art, but I'm staying for the vibes now. You know what I mean?
Thank you
Yes.
so much. Thank you
Um.
so much. Thank you so much. And I had such a nice time. I think we had very good conversations, and we covered a lot of topics as well. So it was fun.
We had range. Range is important in the person.
Yes, we had range.
Hey, we had Kanye range. Can I get an amen?
Yes. Amen.
Hey, all right then. So, Renike, thank you once again for joining me. And we'll talk some more in the DMs. How about that?
Yes. Yes, definitely.
All right. Bye
All
bye.
right. Whew. Bye. Take care.
Oh wait, hold on. Are you still there?
Okay. I'm here.
Oh my god, this is the most important thing. I usually do this before I go out. Real quick,
Okay.
okay? What do you see
Mm-hmm.
as the best version of yourself, the God version of yourself? If you could, like, considering all we've talked about now, what does that look like to you?
Oh, the God version of myself. Okay, the God version of myself would be an artist that is knowledgeable about almost all the areas in my field: concept art, environment, character, concept creation, animation. So just knowing how to do all of that and knowing how to do it well. So that would be like my God artist version. Now, a God version of myself, that's Morenike, not Renike, would be would be someone who is happy and at peace. I'm currently happy and at peace, but I still feel like there's so many things that need to be put in place for me to be like full God mode, right?
Like what?
So like millions of dollars.
Okay, yes.
I'm not tying my happiness to money, but I feel like the kind of comfort that I strive to, have requires a certain amount of money.
Of course.
So an amount of money, or a Renike that can just wake up and travel and experience different cultures and different things while working on herself at the same time, and while learning different skills apart from art. That would be like a God mode Renike. I don't even think I'm ever going to get there, right? I think it's going to be a continuous process. So I'm going to be closer, and because I feel like it's different stages in life. Like I'm at which where I feel like would be my God mode now, and decide that that's not my God mode. I want to achieve other things, right? So I think it's continuous. So I think the goal would be to be closer to my goals.
The goal is to be closer to your goals. Bars.
Yeah, goals change with time and at different stages in life.
Okay, Morenike. Thank you very much for doing this with me, and
You're welcome. And thank you for having me.
yes. One of these days, I'll commission you to do the art, the cover art for my podcast. That would be dope.
Yay! That would be dope.
That would be dope. All right. Thank you very much, and I will talk to you soon. This is The Young God. Do follow the podcast on IG at The Young God Pod and Twitter at I Am The Young God for more God level content. New episodes drop every Saturday at midnight, so do subscribe and do share. I'm your host, Rodney, and I wish you a blessed day and a blessed mind. Rodney, out.